So it's nothing new that YouTube is a huge source of traffic for your products and services. Video marketing is one of the easiest ways to get highly targeted traffic, but you have to do it right. Now, if you do it wrong and you simply upload a video to YouTube in hopes that it'll get ranked both on YouTube and Google, then you won't be as effective. That may have worked back in 2005, where you could just simply throw a couple backlinks at it, but today is different. The problem is that ranking on YouTube isn't as easy as it was back in 2005 or even 2010. Plus, on top of that, there are tons and tons of different marketing strategies out there. Many of these work and many of these have faded away. So what works and what doesn't? What is a long-term strategy that is going to work for years to come? It's simple. Understanding what keywords that are in demand and how to properly optimize your video before you make it live is what is going to help YouTube know where exactly to categorize your video. And methods have changed, and so has the YouTube's algorithm. And you'll learn the most updated SEO strategies that you must do before you make your YouTube videos live. You will learn the most updated SEO strategies that you must do before you make your YouTube videos live. Announcing the brand new 8-part step-by-step video course. You're going to discover how to optimize your videos for YouTube search engine so that you can outrank your competitors. So in this specific video course, you will get a step-by-step, click-by-click, watch over my shoulder, and learn what you need to do before making your YouTube videos live. So here's a quick video's overview of what's inside this video course. Video number 1 is the introduction. Video number 2, we're going to talk about competitive research. And in other words, how to figure out why YouTube is ranking certain videos at the top. Video number 3, we'll talk about how you can figure out what keyword terms to use and focus on. Video number 4, we'll talk about your title and your description. Video number 5, we'll talk about video file optimization, which is something that most people don't even know about. Video number 6, we'll talk about your thumbnail, why it's important, and how to create professional thumbnails. Video number 7, we'll talk about the video length and why that is important. And of course, on top of that, video number 8, we'll talk about a secret tip to outrank your competitors. So go ahead and grab this video course today and begin optimizing your videos for YouTube the right way. So it's nothing new that YouTube is a huge source of traffic for your products and services. Video marketing is one of the easiest ways to get highly targeted traffic, but you have to do it right. Now, if you do it wrong and you simply upload a video to YouTube in hopes that it'll get ranked both on YouTube and Google, then you won't be as effective. That may have worked back in 2005, where you could just simply throw a couple backlinks at it, but today is different. The problem is that ranking on YouTube isn't as easy as it was back in 2005 or even 2010. Plus, on top of that, there are tons and tons of different marketing strategies out there. Many of these work and many of these have faded away. So what works and what doesn't? What is a long-term strategy that is going to work for years to come? It's simple. Understanding what keywords that are in demand and how to properly optimize your video before you make it live is what is going to help YouTube know where exactly to categorize your video. And methods have changed, and so has the YouTube's algorithm. And you'll learn the most updated SEO strategies that you must do before you make your YouTube videos live. You will learn the most updated SEO strategies that you must do before you make your YouTube videos live. Announcing the brand new 8-part step-by-step video course. You're going to discover how to optimize your videos for YouTube search engine so that you can outrank your competitors. So in this specific video course, you will get a step-by-step, click-by-click, watch over my shoulder, and learn what you need to do before making your YouTube videos live. So here's a quick video's overview of what's inside this video course. Video number 1 is the introduction. Video number 2, we're going to talk about competitive research. And in other words, how to figure out why YouTube is ranking certain videos at the top. Video number 3, we'll talk about how you can figure out what keyword terms to use and focus on. Video number 4, we'll talk about your title and your description. Video number 5, we'll talk about video file optimization, which is something that most people don't even know about. Video number 6, we'll talk about your thumbnail, why it's important, and how to create professional thumbnails. Video number 7, we'll talk about the video length and why that is important. And of course, on top of that, video number 8, we'll talk about a secret tip to outrank your competitors. So go ahead and grab this video course today and begin optimizing your videos for YouTube the right way. Hello and congratulations on getting access to this video course on how to optimize your videos before making your YouTube videos live. So this is video number 1, which is the introduction to YouTube search engine optimization. So I want to first start out by saying the goal is to focus on doing the right amount of keyword research and video file automation before actually uploading any of it to YouTube. So essentially this is all about what most people forget about doing before making their YouTube video live. Because if you think about it, most people think about, okay, what do I do after I upload this video? They don't really think about what they have to do before making it live. So this is not about what you can do afterwards, as that is a totally different focus, but rather before. So besides simple optimization, you really need to know that YouTube ranks the videos that people watch the longest. Meaning, let's say for example that we have a 10-minute video. YouTube looks at that video. They look, yes, at the likes, dislikes, and comments, but they also look at, okay, do people actually watch most of this video? And based on, let's say, 1,000 views, how many of those 1,000 views actually watched either 50% or 100%, or how many minutes total? 1,000 times how many minutes was watched. So they really look at how long people watch the videos as a whole. Meaning the more viewers and the longer that they watch, that will get you ranked up further and further up. So instead of focusing on, spammy tactics, tons of backlinks, and all of that, our goal here is to really focus on the user experience. So what I want to do now is give you a quick overview of what's inside this video course. This is, of course, video number 1. Video number 2 is going to be about competitive research, or in other words, researching your competitors to kind of get a better idea of why YouTube is ranking those videos. Video number 3, we'll talk about highly searched keyword terms and how you can find those for your product or service or whatever you're trying to promote. Video number 4, we'll talk about your title and your description. Video number 5, we'll talk about video file optimization. So we're going to optimize the actual file, because each file has essentially information in it. And of course, video number 6 will talk about why your thumbnail is important and how to make it professional and good looking. And video number 7 will talk about video length and why that matters. We talked briefly about it just now, but I'm going to dive in deeper in that video. And of course, last but not least, I'm going to give you a secret tip on how to outrank your competitors in video number 8. So before we get started, I want to talk about what you need to have in hand. You're definitely going to need your product or service and an idea of the niche that you're targeting. You also need to have a video that is ready to be uploaded. And with that said, let's move on to video number 2. Hello and welcome back. This is video number 2. So let's talk about competitive research. You see, the best way to understand how you can rank better is to know what is already ranking in your niche or your market. So what we want to do here is we want to analyze the videos that are on the top. And I want you to specifically look at what titles, what descriptions are they using, and what thumbnails are they using that are eye-catching. And what is the user experience like when you click through those videos? So let's go ahead and do some competitive research. So for the sake of making sure that we find YouTube videos that actually relate to promoting a product, what I want to do now is just to pick a product out of the blue and let's take a look at YouTube. So one product that I've been using for a while now, which has been really awesome, is called the Instant Pot. It's basically a pressure cooker that cooks food at a really fast rate. So what we're going to do is we're going to hop on over to youtube.com and we're going to type in Instant Pot and see what we get. So I'm not going to click enter just yet because I'm interested in getting an idea of what kind of potential keywords that we could rank on or what potential videos that we can create. And we'll talk more about this in the next video. But for now, let's just do some basic keyword brainstorming and then of course do some competitive research. So Instant Pot, we got Instant Pot recipes, we got Instant Pot ribs, Instant Pot roast. So let's just click here and see what we get. Now we can see how to use Instant Pot has 316,000 views right here. Instant Pot chicken, top 6 easiest things to cook in your Instant Pot. Perfect for beginners. All right. So let's just take a look at the top 3. So let's go ahead and open those up. And let's analyze them. So the first one is this one here. And let's pause the video. We'll skip the ad. All right. Okay, so how to use the Instant Pot 101 for beginners. So if we think about the type of audience that the Instant Pot attracts, it attracts somebody who has a busy life, who may be a beginner at cooking and just wants a quick and easy meal done fast. So we can see that. So one thing that I like to do is I like to copy the titles to Notepad. Just kind of get an idea of what we're dealing with. So that's the title. Looks like she's promoting an Amazon affiliate link. We can see that here, Amazon.to. We've got Instant Pot hacks, Instant Pot yogurt, and all that. So what she's doing, it's very funny, but she may not realize she's doing this, but what she's using is a method called siloing. And she's basically telling YouTube, hey, not only do I have this video on Instant Pot, I've got Instant Pot hacks, yogurt, recipes, and other recipes. So let's just copy that in here. So that's video number 1. So we're going to rank it from video 1, video 2, and video 3. Let's scroll down a bit. We've got 373 comments. I will say when it comes to YouTube, they're looking for engagement. So comments is good, likes are good, even dislikes are good as well. Even though dislikes are bad from a human standpoint, it tells YouTube that there is engagement. All right. So sometimes we're going to be able to view, we can't do it here, but sometimes you'll actually be able to view more data. But for now, you can't hear. Now, we can actually dig deeper if we want to. So let's just take a look at Natural Brittany's YouTube channel. Because when you're doing competitive research on YouTube, it's not just that particular video. It's actually the whole YouTube channel as a whole. the authority that that channel holds. So she has 116,000 subscribers. Click on the videos. She has a good amount of videos that talk about anything, looks like from cooking, from budgeting, from grocery, a lot of very similar videos. So let's scroll down. And now let's go ahead and take a look at the second highest ranking video. So if we go back over to here, and this is the Instant Pot Chicken Cook With Me, meal planning, meal prepping, Sunday setup. So let's go here, take a look. Okay, let's see here. So it's a 20-minute video, all right? And it has 658 likes, 5,000 views. If we take a look at this video here, this has 320,000 views and 7,000 likes. Now, notice how it says 13 minutes here, and notice how it says 20 minutes here. We'll go back to this later on. All right, so we'll talk more about why a certain amount of time of your video is important, why the timing is important. And why is it that this lady has only 5,000 views, whereas the other lady has 300,000, and this lady is ranked right below that lady? All right. So why is that important? And why does that correlate to the time? So we'll talk more about that later on. But for now, let's just do competitive research. We're not trying to figure things out right now, and go from there. So if we take a look at the description, it says cook with me as I try a new recipe with Instant Pot. So the description contains the keyword. Sunday setup. Looks like she's got some Amazon links. And if we think about Instant Pot, who could it be targeting? All right, so this lady calls out people who are trying to prep on Sunday. So if we can get an idea of who it's targeting mothers, it's targeting people who are busy, who maybe only have time on Sundays to set things up. And chicken is a common thing, so maybe she's getting a lot of clicks. We don't know exactly, but we know that the headline and the description work together and getting clicks. All right, back over here, this is the third one. So let's take a look at this one. So this one is 8 minutes, but it has a lot more views than those other two videos, but it's shorter. It's shorter, but it has longer amount of views, and it's third. It's got 11,000 likes and 633 dislikes. If we scroll down, we can see that it has more comments than the first one. So why is it that the first one is number one and this one is the third one and it has more views and more comments? Well, we don't know exactly why, but I have a hunch as to why that is, which we'll talk more about ranking and what Google and YouTube is looking for later down the road. So that's that. Let's just copy that title. And I'm going to go ahead and pause this video and we'll copy and paste that information to the notepad. Okay, so I went ahead and copy and paste the information. So this is video 1, this is video 2, and this is video 3 down below. So let me make this bigger so we have this information. So as we're kind of analyzing the competitor, we want to save this for later, but can you kind of see a similarity here? So this is calling out the target audience. This is calling out the people who are busy, essentially. And top 6 ways, top X ways, top certain number ways is always a good title. So perfect for beginners. So if you can imagine, we already see that this title has beginners. This one's calling out perfect for beginners. And this one essentially is calling out people who are busy. So it's a target audience. So that's key. So having this in hand gives you a better idea on what potential titles and descriptions that you can have. Now, you can do some deeper dive competitive research using specific tools. And one specific tool is called Social Blade. So that's socialblade.com, as you can see here. And I like to use this to kind of get a better idea of the YouTube channel as a whole. Because what you're trying to figure out is, did this person rank because their channel as a whole has a lot of traffic? Or did this person rank simply because of the titles and the description? So there's many factors that come involved, but let's take a look at Naturally Brittany. So let's go ahead and copy this. And you basically want to come here and type in the username of the YouTube channel. So we'll go ahead and click this here. Okay, so we can see here that this is Naturally Brittany, 116,000 subscribers. She's got 19 million video views. So that kind of gives us an idea of how easy it is to break through. Is it easy? Is it going to take a little bit work or what? So let's just go ahead and open her up, and let's do the same thing with the other videos. So this one is marriage and motherhood. We got that here. So she has 7 million video views. So it's about half of what we saw earlier. And this one is called Six Sisters Stuff. And this one has about 9 million video views. So right off the bat, we can see that if we were to rank on the keyword Instant Pot, it's going to take a lot to break through. But the way we can break through is by using essentially subcategories of that keyword. So Instant Pot recipes or Instant Pot chicken recipe, stuff like that. So we can see that each one of these has about 100 to 200,000 subscribers. So you're going to have to be competing against that. Now, obviously, if you have a good size YouTube channel, that will usually mean that you can break through fairly easily. But if you're just starting out, then breaking through on that keyword is going to be a little bit more difficult. So the next question is, what keywords should you use? And we'll discuss that in the next video. Hello and welcome to video number 3. Let's talk about highly searched keyword terms and how you can figure out what your main keyword is going to be, what your sub keywords are going to be. So one mistake that we see that many YouTubers make is simply making their own title and description. I mean, it's natural, right? But instead of deciding what you think will work, why not use what is already working and do some simple keyword research that's not going to take a lot of time, and this way you'll be able to have the right information that will help you rank on the right keywords. Now the big question is, well, how do I find these keywords? So the best way to find highly searched keyword terms is to look at the Google suggested keywords. And they are suggested for one reason, because they are used a lot. So let me show you how to find them and what they look like. Okay, so from analyzing the previous videos with the top 3 videos to kind of get an idea of what the titles were, what the descriptions were, if we look at the 3 and we refer back to this, the question is, what are the commonalities between the titles? Obviously the keyword Instant Pot, but we also notice that the top one and the third one, they all have the keyword beginners. So beginners in Instant Pot. Instant Pot for beginners, all right? So if we go back up here and we go to youtube.com and we type in Instant Pot, what do we get? So when you have a drop down like this is what we call the suggested keywords. And you'll see this in Amazon.com, you'll see this in Google.com, and other major search engines. And what this is high demand and highly searched keyword terms. So in other words, if a lot of people are searching for these keywords, then they'll show up in the drop-down menu, right? So Instant Pot Chicken happens to be a very highly searched term. And take a look at this. This one is related to Instant Pot Chicken. So that means there's a lot of people searching for Instant Pot Chicken. And that might be why this second video is ranked so high. Let's scroll down and take a look. So as we're scrolling down, I also want you to kind of keep an eye on the thumbnails because the thumbnails are key. So we got top 6 easiest things to cook in your Instant Pot. And I'll say, as an Instant Pot user, I really didn't know what recipes were out there that would fit the Instant Pot. Because the Instant Pot, the way it cooks is it pressurizes the food, and you need a little bit of liquid inside it to pressurize. So what I was doing is I was looking for recipes that were specifically made for the Instant Pot. So a lot of these people that are coming here, they don't know. They're just looking for recipes. So the 30 Instant Pot recipes gives people an idea. Oh, okay, I've got 30 recipes that I can pick and choose from. So if you scroll down, it says Instant Pot Ultra. All right. So if we go back here, so Instant Pot Chicken is definitely a top one. Instant Pot Spaghetti, how to use an Instant Pot. Instant Pot Cheesecake, Yogurt, Pho, Beef Stew, Whole Chicken, Rice, and Instant Pot Roast. So these are highly searched keywords. Now let's hop over to Google and see what we get. Do we get the same thing? Do we get something different? So if you go to Google and you type in the same thing, Instant Pot, we can see that we've got Instant Pot recipes, Instant Pot chicken. So notice that the chicken and the roast beef or the pot roast seem to appear both in Google and in YouTube. So whenever you see that, that's a good sign, because you got to understand people searching in YouTube are very different than people searching in Google. They don't show the exact same thing. But if they do, that gives you an idea that if you rank on that term, that you will be able to get traffic from Google and YouTube. Okay, so let's go back here. So Instant Pot Chicken. So let's just do a search and see what we get. So another place to find the Google suggested keyword terms is to scroll all the way down to the bottom. So there we go. So Instant Pot recipe. Now these are specifics, all right? These are searches related to Instant Pot. So people are looking to buy Instant Pot Amazon. So let's just type in Instant Pot Chicken and see what else we get. So if you notice, when we type Instant Pot Chicken, it gives you a more detailed view of the other keywords that are related. So for example, Instant Pot Chicken recipes, chicken and rice, chicken noodle soup, chicken thighs, chicken bog, chicken breast recipes, chicken wings, and chicken and dumplings. So let's go over here and see what we get. So Instant Pot Chicken recipe, wings, noodle, biryani, thighs. So a lot of these are actually appearing that are the same. Okay, so moving on here, we've got Instant Pot Chicken. Now let's take a look at what we have here. So what I would do is I would do the same thing, the competitive research. Now, if you notice here, the Six Sisters stuff, it's a different video, but it's a similar video. Now this video is different. This lady is the same. And that's another thing. So if you rank high on the main keyword, then you could potentially rank on the other smaller keywords as well. So that gives you an idea of what content to create and what keywords to target. So we could potentially make it about Instant Pot Chicken. And what I would do is go back here. Let's say we want to title it the Instant Pot Chicken. What I would do is I would scroll here and take a look at questions people are asking. So how do I cook chicken and potatoes in Instant Pot? How long does it take to cook chicken pot, Instant Pot? We scroll down, and what I would do is grab these keywords. So I would grab these keywords. So what we want to do is we want to have a main keyword, and then we want to have sub keywords. So the main keyword here would be Instant Pot Chicken. And then the other ones would be Instant Pot Chicken and potatoes, and all the rest here. So having these in hand will give you a better idea on how to go about creating your titles and your descriptions so that you can target specific keywords, and that you're not like any other YouTuber who is simply making up titles and descriptions just out of your head. So this way you can be strategic and rank effectively. Hello and welcome to video number 4. In this video, we're going to talk about your title and your description. So let's take what you have gathered in the previous video and let me show you how to properly create your titles and descriptions. So when it comes to creating titles and descriptions, we simply need to do what we did in the previous videos, which was the competitive research. And as you can see here, we have the videos 1, 2, and 3, the top number 1, number 2, and number 3. And of course, we have the main keywords. So we have this main keyword here. So that's definitely going to be in the title. And then of course, if you noticed, the target audience was beginners. So essentially what you're noticing here is that people are calling out the audience, and then of course they have the keyword in the title itself. And then of course you want to make sure that title, main keyword, and target audience is also going to be in your description. Now what I like to do is I like to go look at magazines in that niche. It doesn't necessarily have to be exactly, in this case, Instant Pot, but it needs to be somewhat of that genre. Now one thing that I noticed was when we took a look at the Instant Pot Chicken, you could write out something like top 6 easiest things. So instead of things, you could say chicken recipes or pot roast recipes to cook in your Instant Pot. Or you could say something like Instant Pot Chicken dash top 6 easy recipes, or you could use a number. People like numbers, especially knowing that somebody gets an Instant Pot for the sake of saving time. You could say top 6 easy chicken recipes that take less than 30 minutes. Now obviously that's a little bit long, so let's head on over to Google here. So like I said, I like to use magazines. Magazines do a great job in creating titles. So as you can see here, I typed in Instant Pot magazine, and to the right you'll notice that there's Instant Pot all-time recipes. So let's just go ahead and open that in a brand new window like so. So it looks like we have to pay, but let's just go ahead and click the free sample. So we can see Instant Pot's all-time best recipes. So you could do something like all-time best chicken recipes, or Instant Pot dash all-time best chicken recipes, or all-time best chicken Instant Pot recipes. So obviously here we're not going to copy word for word because that's plagiarism, but we're going to use something different. We're going to tweak it around. What we're looking here is for headlines. So let's go back here. So it says everyday instant pot, 115 delicious, family friendly pressure cooker. So we can say everyday instant pot, colon, 6 delicious family pressure cooker recipes. So everyday instant pot chicken, as long as the word instant pot chicken is in there. So we got 66 instant pot recipes that put your pressure cooker to work. So we could say something like 6 instant pot chicken recipes that take less than 15 minutes. And yes, believe it or not, Instant Pot can literally cook something like a pot roast within less than an hour, or sometimes half an hour. Because it's a pressure cooker, it cooks a lot faster. So that's what I like to do, is I like to take a look at magazines. So it doesn't necessarily have to be Instant Pot in this example. It can be another food magazine. So essentially that's how to create the titles. As far as the description goes, if you take a look at what they've written here, the first one that's ranking really well, as you can see here, we've got Instant Pot 101 for beginners. So you'll notice that they are trying to target the keyword Instant Pot 101 for beginners. So they've stated that in the title, and they've also put it in the description. So it says everything you need to know about how to use the Instant Pot in a beginner Instant Pot recipe. So notice that they use the keyword beginner Instant Pot twice. And then of course they got Instant Pot hacks, Instant Pot yogurt. And what they're essentially doing here is they're linking to other related videos. Now, Google's smart enough and YouTube's smart enough to have an algorithm to read the description and think, okay, they've got other videos that they've created that are related to Instant Pot. This video must be good, or this channel must have a lot of relevant information. So we're going to rank it a little bit higher because it's going to give people what they want to see. So now we look down here, it says Instant Pot chicken. So this is the lady who is ranking really high on Instant Pot, but also Instant Pot chicken. So it says cook with me as I try a new recipe with my Instant Pot. So we can see the keyword Instant Pot here. And as you can see, the description is really written for the user, but it contains the keywords that are necessary. So you don't need to write something like Instant Pot chicken or something that's just a bunch of garbled information. You want to make sure that the title and the description attract people first and foremost, and then embed the keywords within. So the third one, we've got top 6 easiest things to cook in your Instant Pot, perfect for beginners. So it says, today I'm sharing with you the 6 easiest things to cook in your Instant Pot. So you can see here, the title is here, but the title is also in the description. It says, now these are perfect if you are just starting out or even had the Instant Pot for a while. So you can see the keywords that are embedded, but it's really written for the user. And that's the way it should be, because the title and the description will actually show up in the YouTube search engine, as you can see here. So we've got the title, we've got the description. So we want to make sure that the first sentence in your description is catchy as well. Hello and welcome to video number 5. Let's talk about video file optimization. Did you know that all files contain data that tells YouTube what your video could be about? Let me show you. Okay, so the way that YouTube gets an idea of what your video is about is by transcribing it. And for the most part, it can usually figure out what your video is all about if you have voice and speaking in it. Now, you can go one step further by adding what we call video file metadata. It's very similar to a website metadata. So for example, if you right click on any website and you click on View Page Source, up at the top, you're going to see a lot of what we call metadata. So right here, we can see the name, the title, the description, and all that information. So what that does is it tells Google essentially what your website is all about. So very, very similar in this case of what we're doing here. So what we're doing here is we are taking the video file that you have created and embedding it with more information. So besides the title and description, YouTube will be able to read the metadata inside of your video. So it'll make a little bit more sense when I show it to you. Now, it's really hard to find software out there that allows you to embed metadata, except for a few. So one of them is called Video Converter by Wondershare, and that is videoconverter.wondershare.com. That's videoconverter.wondershare.com. So if you go here and you go ahead and download up at the top, you will be able to embed metadata. In fact, we're going to be using that for this particular video. Now, there are other software out there like the Adobe Bridge software, which allows you to embed the metadata into your video. Now, the reason why I'm using Wondershare is because I feel like it's a lot easier to use. So if you go ahead and download this, we're going to open this here. And what I did was I clicked Add Files and I chose the file. Now, there's a lot of things that you can change about the video, but what we're particularly interested in is this eye icon right here. So click this eye icon or letter I here, and you're going to see that it says name, language, episode name, actors, director, screenwriter, tagline, and description and comments. So what I recommend is you try to complete this as much as you can. So episode name, actors, so that would be whoever is in the video, the director, the screenwriter, which could be you, and then the tagline. What I would do is the tagline be your title, and then the description be your description. So whatever you're going to upload to YouTube, put this as a title and put this as a description. And then for comments, I would put something like keywords. And all you have to do is click save, convert it, and done. That's the reason why we're using Video Converter, because it's just so much easier. With Adobe Bridge, it's easy too, but there's a lot of more options and very easy to get confused. So once you're done with that, you save the video, your video has the metadata inside of it, and all you have to do is simply upload it to YouTube, and that's it. Hello and welcome back. This is video number 6. Let's talk about your thumbnail and why that is important. You see, since our goal is to get more clicks or more views to your YouTube video, we have to rely on attracting viewers. So if you think about it, the thumbnail is the first thing people see as they are scanning to find what interests them the most. So in other words, if you think about it, if you go to youtube.com and you type in a keyword, you're going to see all the results with thumbnails, the titles, the descriptions, and all of that. So that's the first thing that they see. So let's discuss what your thumbnail should contain and what's working in your market and how to figure that out. So when it comes to having a thumbnail, you want to make sure that it is eye-catching, meaning it shows somebody what they want. So if Instant Pot Chicken is your main keyword, you want to make sure that your thumbnail has something in it that entices them. So it's good to have the keyword or the title in it. So you can see right now the way YouTube works is they have an initial title or an initial thumbnail, and then after that you can see motion. So if I put my mouse over it, you can actually see part of the video, which makes it a lot more engaging. So as we scroll down, the initial thumbnail that this woman uses is the Instant Pot. And then this one here, it says Instant Pot recipes. So Instant Pot. So we can see the ones at the top definitely have the Instant Pot in it, or a word that's chicken, or a picture that has chicken in it. So it fits the keyword. Now, if you're not a professional, thumbnail artist or anything like that, there are different sites that you can use to get these created. Now, bear in mind that you never want to use a thumbnail that is clickbaity or that lies to somebody, because if they click on it and then the video is nothing like the thumbnail, then guess what? You might get tons and tons of clicks and perhaps views, but you're not going to get people watching your video, which is very, very important, which we'll discuss in the future videos. But for now, there are different elements that you need. So what I recommend is you go to a site called creativemarket.com. That's creativemarket.com. There are other sites like graphicriver.net, but over time we've realized Creative Market has a lot of really good designs. So what we can do here is in the search box, we're going to type in YouTube thumbnail. And we're looking specifically for templates that we can use for the thumbnail. So it says YouTube thumbnail pack. Let's go ahead and open that. There's one here. There are end cards, but that's a little bit different. That basically comes at the very end of your video. So we got urban thumbnails, different types of thumbnails. But the reason why I like Creative Market is buying templates for specifically YouTube thumbnails is going to make your life a lot more easier, especially if you can make it professional. The more professional it looks, the more professional your viewers will click through. So if we click on this, we can kind of get an idea of what we're dealing with. And here's more thumbnails here as well. Now, over time, we've realized with YouTube thumbnails, more and more designs are becoming minimalistic, meaning it's not too fancy, but it's got just enough information to tell the person what it is all about. So it could have text, it could have pictures, but you really need to know what your YouTube video is about before you can create your thumbnail. In fact, I recommend that you create your YouTube video first and then you create your thumbnail so that you can make sure that you attract the right person. Now, what we found a little bit of a technique is to create a thumbnail that is related to essentially the end, meaning if you're creating an Instant Pot chicken recipe, you might want to show the chicken already cooked. So essentially what people get if they click through. So that way people think, oh, okay, this looks really nice. I'm going to click through. And they're more likely to actually watch all the way through to the end. And that's what we want. We want people not to just click through, but to watch all the way till the end. And that's actually going to help us with the ranking. Hello and welcome to video number 7. Let's talk about video length in more depth. So the big question is, how long should your video be? While yes, most folks have said that your video should be short due to attention span, and that's something that we've talked about in the past, and that definitely worked in the past, and that still is true that people's attention span are short. But today, in terms of YouTube, your video length should be longer, and here's why. Did you know that YouTube ranks your video based on how many minutes your viewer watches? We talked briefly about this in video number 1, but I want to talk about why that is the case. Statistically speaking, most people that we have found, based on statistics that we have seen in YouTube, most people watch about 50% of a video. Even the people that are interested in a video, they watch 50% of a video. So if that, in this case, is a 5-minute video, an average viewer is only going to watch about 2.5 minutes. Now, here's why that is important. If you're competing against someone who has a 30-minute video and their viewers watch 15 minutes, which is about 50%, well, guess what? Even if they can have less viewers than you, they're going to beat you because they have a longer video. So if you got the 2.5, they've got the 15 minutes, they can send less people and still beat you. And YouTube will favor them in the end. Now that, of course, is assuming that the views are legitimate and people are actually watching. And that's why user experience is so important. So to give you some real life practical application, let's hop on over to YouTube and I'm going to show you proof that this works. Okay, so let's take what we learned and what we just discussed and apply it to some real life practical application. So if we head on back over to youtube.com, we type in the keyword Instant Pot recipes, we can see this one, and this one. So let's go ahead and open these up. So we got this one, and this one. So that's 1, 2, and 3. The first one has about roughly 8 minutes or 9 minutes. We'll say 9 minutes. The second one has about 27 minutes. And the third one has about 20 minutes. Okay. So essentially the second and third have about double the amount of time. So like we talked about, most people watch about 50% or less, and then they quit. That's the average, right? So if that's the case, this person here, even though they have more views, see that? 800,000 views, even though they have more views, they're competing with somebody with a 30-minute video. Essentially, it's 27 or 28, but close to 30. So if we round that, we'll just say this is 10, this is 30, and this is 20. All right, so let's keep it at even numbers. So if that's the case, there's 4 minutes here, 15 minutes here, and 10 minutes here. So this means that the person with the less amount of minutes, they're going to need a lot more views and a lot more people watching it. So in total, if this person has, obviously this person's number 1, but what I'm saying here is because YouTube looks at how many minutes are watched, if this person had 800,000 views and this person had only half of that amount, but had more than double this amount, this person right here would most likely rank higher. So see that? Only 100,000 views, 15 minutes. This one here, 20 minutes, only 6,000 views. So you might ask, well, shouldn't this be maybe number 1? Not necessarily. If we really look at it, so we've got 800 times 4 minutes, and that's not going to be exact. I mean, we could even take 500. And this is definitely going to be number 1. And this is definitely going to be number 2 based on the information. But this person, because they have a long enough video, even though they have less amount of views, they're still able to rank pretty high. So this is based on one of our YouTube channels, which has over 9 million of minutes watched. And based on that, that's what we've seen. Now, there's other factors like likes, dislikes, comments, and other things like that, titles and descriptions. But that's a big, huge ranking factor because it legitimately tells Google and YouTube, hey, this YouTube video is legit. not only people are clicking on it, they're actually viewing it. And they're viewing at least about 50% on average. So that's why the video length is important. Now, you don't want to make a long video just to make a long video. You want to make a video that has really good content. And that's the goal. It's not based on spammy backlinks or anything like that. It's based on providing real value. Hello and welcome to video number 8. So just want to say congratulations on reaching the end of this video course. We're going to talk about a secret tip that you can use to outrank your competitors. So we briefly talked about why having a longer video was important, right? So one secret tip that we can give you is that what we have found that works is the following. Longer videos in the sense of live streams, which means you get on YouTube and you talk to people live. You have webinar replays and videos where people expect them to be longer. So in other words, people are expecting these to be longer. If you make a normal video that people expect to be 5 minutes and you make it an hour, then you're not really going to hit that 50%. But when you have a live stream or a webinar replay, usually people typically expect it to be at least 1 hour. So because people expect it to be 1 hour or longer, they expect to take time out of their busy schedule to actually watch your longer video. And what we found is these work really well compared to the average video. So let's discuss what you need to do in terms of software or even web applications that you need to create live streams and webinar replays. So in order to create a YouTube live stream, you're going to need to have a broadcasting software. There are many. You can go to YouTube and type in live stream, how to set it up, and there's a lot of videos on that. But this is one particular one that we have used and that has worked really, really well for us. It's called Open Broadcaster Software, and it's free, best of all. And that is located at obsproject.com. So as you can see here, there is versions for Windows, Mac, and Linux. So it's simply as easy as downloading and you can start streaming. So the reason why you need this software is basically what it does is it connects to the YouTube live stream system. And when you're ready, you click record and you're good to go. Now, I'm not going to go in depth on how to use this product just simply because there are so many different options and so many different ways of using it. Now, like I said, the tip is when outranking your competitors to have longer views. This is good for kind of a face-to-face talking head type long video. Now, if you want to use a camera, you can do that. If you want to do something like screen capture, meaning you're going to show your screen, then you're going to want to use something like GoToWebinar. And you can go to gotomeeting.com/webinar to do that. Another tool that we have used, which as of now, it is free, and who knows, it could change. So GoToWebinar does cost money, but it's a nice way to kind of engage with people. So this is the route that I would go if you are engaging with people. If you're not engaging with people and you're simply doing screen capture, there is a tool called Use Loom. Let me show it to you. So useloom.com. Loom is essentially a Chrome plugin, and what it does is it allows you to record your screen. It's super easy to use. In fact, it's super, super fast. It's so fast that you can literally start recording, and within seconds when you're done, you'll have the video in hand. And you can download the actual video file to your computer really fast. So those are the 3 options that I would go to, and really depends on the avenue that you want to take. So like I said, create a longer video, but just don't create any content. Make sure that the content is valuable, because you want to make sure that people watch all the way through, or if not, watch at least 50%. Hello and welcome back. This is video number 5, and we're going to talk about how to add the pixel code to your website. Now, it's really going to depend on what kind of landing page creator you use, what kind of website platform that you use. So for example, WordPress is going to be a little bit different. I'm going to show you a WordPress plugin that you can use. If you're, say for example, using a HTML website page builder or ClickFunnels or lead pages or OptimizePress or any other type of landing page builder, you need to make sure that the pixel is on every single page of your funnel, because you're going to want to track everything from start to finish. Or you just want to put the pixel code on the pages that you want to track. For example, the pages where they initially visit, the pages where they convert, the pages where they don't convert, and so forth, so that you're able to kind of get a bigger bird's eye view of what is happening, what people are visiting, what people are not, and all that. So if you click on the install pixel code in Facebook Manager, then you'll see this page. Now, like I said, it can change, but basically what you need to do is it says locate the header code for your website. So what you're going to look for is the head tags, and you're going to put the pixel code within these tags. So like I said, it's going to differ based upon what kind of platform you use. But the majority of times, if you are using something like lead pages or ClickFunnels or something similar, then they will typically give you the option to add some sort of code to the head tag. So that's actually very easy to do. Now, when it comes to something like WordPress, you will want to add this code to a plugin. You could do that, or you could add it to the header.php template of your WordPress theme. So I'm going to show you different options that you can take, 2 different options for a WordPress site. But of course, if you're not familiar and this is a little bit overwhelming, you can always get a web developer to do this for you. It's really not hard to do once you understand the concept. So now let's talk about the WordPress plugin that we highly recommend that you use. We actually use this on a lot of our WordPress sites, and it's a free plugin. If you go to wordpress.org/plugins/pixel your site, as you can see here, or you can simply come here, click on plugins, and type that in here. That's fine as well. But this plugin is very useful, and it allows you to add your Facebook pixel to certain pages of your WordPress site. So it's a matter of just simply installing the plugin, grabbing your pixel code, and adding it to the settings area. So it's very, very easy if what we talked about before, it seemed a little bit daunting. Now, once you have everything installed, the next thing you're going to want to have is you're going to want to install a Google Chrome extension called the Facebook Pixel Helper. And the reason why you want to install this is because you want to make sure that the web pages that you're inserting into Facebook actually have the Facebook pixel. You definitely don't want to assume that it is installed and set up your campaign, pay the money for the Facebook ads, and realize, oops, it's not there. So this is another free plugin for Google Chrome. And if you're using other things like Safari or Firefox, you can probably go and Google Facebook Pixel Firefox or Facebook Pixel Safari. But for Google Chrome, this is what we use. And all you have to do is install it. And as you can see down here, you're going to see this icon, and any web page that you visit in your funnel, if you click that, it should say that the pixel has been found. If it has not been found, you either need to reinstall it, showing what we talked about earlier with the WordPress plugin and all that, or even just hiring somebody who knows how to do that. And it's really not that hard. But this is going to make your life a lot easier. So again, go to Google, type in Pixel Helper Chrome extension, and you'll get this right here. And that's really all you need. All you need to do as a recap is number one, install the pixel in the head tags for any web page that you want. And number two, get this Chrome extension so that you're able to test and make sure that you've installed the pixel correctly. So now that you understand how to add the pixel to your website, your WordPress site, or your landing page builder, let's move on to the next video and let's talk about the Facebook pixel variables and the different settings of the pixel itself so that you're able to track, you're able to see what is converting and all that. Hello and welcome back. This is video number 6 and we're going to dive into the Facebook pixel and talk about the different variables and settings, which according to Facebook is also known as standard events. Basically all that means is that you're going to have a different code or different keyword for different scenarios. So we're taking a look right now at a standard Facebook pixel. Now I've blurred out or put X's in the area of my Facebook pixel ID. So you know that this is going to be your Facebook pixel ID. Now, if you go to facebook.com and you look for their standard events, you're going to see a list of different event codes. So you can see add to cart. This can track anytime somebody adds an item to the cart. So if you're selling maybe physical items or e-commerce or even digital items and they add it to the cart, you want to use the standard event code here. And what that means is you are going to take this code and put it in your pixel code, and then you're going to put that code on that page. You have another one called add payment info. This tracks when the payment information is added in the checkout flow. So you're going to add that to that specific page. Now, some of these will relate to you, some of them will not. So you can see complete registration. This is great for if somebody is trying to fill out a form and you're trying to get them to fill that form out and you want to track, did they fill that form or not? If they didn't, then this code would not be triggered. If they did, then of course they would land on the page after they fill out the form and you would put that code on that page. We can see contact, which is if they went to a contact page and they contacted you, you could put that on the code and on that specific page. So as you can see, there are tons and tons of different standard events that relate to different actions. So we have donate, we have find location, we have initiate checkout, we have lead. Lead is whenever somebody signs up on your email list. Or they could be a form submission. They could sign up for a trial. They could land on a specific page where you would deem them to be a lead. And you would use that code right here. And then we have purchase. They also have a code for that and a value. So if you're using USD in the United States of America, and you would put the number here. So if it was $47, you would put 47.00 USD. If you were not using USD and you were using your own country's money symbol here, it could be Canadian, it could be AUS for Australia, you could put that here. And then we have schedule, we have search, we have start trial, we have submit application, we have subscribe, we have view content. So view content could simply mean they're viewing a special piece of content. So it could be something like the blog post, right? So we could send them to the blog post. You would make sure that the pixel code has this specific code in it. So why don't we go back to the pixel code and let me show you what you need to do. So let's say, for example, view content. So you're going to highlight this, click copy, and then you're going to go back to the pixel code here. And the only item that you want to change is this item here. So where it says FBQ, parentheses, track, comma, page view, we're going to remove that, and then we're going to put that here. So in this case, it's view content, and page view is going to be removed. So what we're going to do now is we're going to take this code and put it on the special piece of content page where we want to track it. Now, if it's a lead, we simply remove this and type lead. Now, when you run your Facebook ad campaign, what's going to happen is in the campaign, you'll see these keywords. So you can also put your own keyword as well. And it's going to tell you the keywords, how many people visited it, and all that. And you yourself will know, okay, so this many people out of 100 people came, 10 people, 10% became a lead. So you'll see leads 10. And that will give you an idea of what is actually converting. So let's do something else. Let's go back up here and let's do purchase. So we're going to copy this. We're going to go back here. And instead of a lead, we're going to copy and paste this here. This is track purchase value. Let's say it's $47, and that's all you need to do. And you're going to need to take this piece of code and put it on the page that they see after they purchase. So whatever page that they are sent to or redirected to immediately, you need to put that piece of code on that page. Now, let's say, for example, that we have a funnel. And the funnel is an opt-in page. So in that case, the opt-in page is going to have a pixel code, and the track will be something like this. So the opt-in page could be a page view or view content, and then the next page after that, if they subscribe, could be a lead. So throughout your funnel, you have different steps, you have different pages, and on those different pages, you'll have different pixel codes. Now, while that might seem a little bit complex right now, it really isn't. It's a matter of just changing the keyword and putting the code on the right page. And then, of course, using the Facebook Pixel Helper Google Chrome extension to go back to the page, make sure that pixel is on the page, and it'll tell you if the pixel is on the page and specifically what it is. So if it's a lead, it'll show a lead. If it's a purchase, it'll show a purchase. And it really is quite easy once you get the hang of it. So with that said, let's move on to the next video. Hello and welcome back. This is video number 7. Let's talk about custom audiences. Now, when I showed you the visual mind map of how everything works and the different scenarios, we talked about custom audiences being an ad targeting option that lets you find people who either took an action or either didn't take the action that you wanted. So as you can see here, according to Facebook.com, a custom audience is an ad targeting option that lets you find people who already know your business on Facebook. So with that said, to get here, all you have to do is up the top, click this, and then click audiences. And then you'll see a drop-down menu that says create custom audience, and you want to click that. Now you will see an option on creating a lookalike audience, but that's not what we're going to do. You don't really want to create a lookalike audience until you have run enough Facebook ads and you've collected a certain amount of data to know that the lookalike audience is correct. So what is a lookalike audience? A lookalike audience, according to Facebook, is, let's say we run 1,000 people to an opt-in page. And out of 1,000 people, we have about 100 people who opt in. Now, out of the 100 people that opt in, we want to figure and reach similar people based on the 100 people that converted. So what you can do is you can create a lookalike audience with Facebook. And what Facebook will do is it'll go out into the database and find people that are very similar to the people that have opted in. Now, that is super powerful. No other platform can do that. So what you're really doing is you're tapping into Facebook's database according to the data that you have found and comparing and finding people that are similar. You could do that with a purchase. Maybe you have 1,000 people that visited a sales page. And out of those people, we have eventually 100 people that buy. So we want to find 100 people that are similar. So that's what a lookalike audience is. Now, what we want to do in this specific retargeting campaign is to create a custom audience. So these are the different custom audiences that you can create. Now, I'm not going to talk about how to create one just yet. We'll talk more about that in the next video. But as you can see here, as far as custom audiences go, you can find, let's say, for example, an email list of your customers or your subscribers and upload them here. And then you can retarget them. So maybe somebody opted in for a freebie. You could upload that here and you can retarget them and try to get them to purchase a product that might be similar to what they signed up for. So even though they fulfill the action of signing up and giving you their email address, you can still retarget them. They're still potential buyers. Website traffic, you can create a custom audience based upon people who visit your website. So we could say anybody who visits our opt-in page or anybody who visits our blog posts, we want to retarget them. It doesn't have to be that. It can be people who opted in and who saw the next page. Or maybe they clicked a button and they saw next page. It doesn't matter what page it is. You can do any page that you want. As long as the Facebook pixel is on it, you can track it, you can create a custom audience. Now, app activity is something that most of you will likely not use. You can create a list of people who launched your app or your game or took a specific action. Offline activity, you can create a list of people who interacted with your business, your in-store business by phone, by offline channels, and all that. For engagement, you can create a list of people who engage with your content on Facebook or Instagram. Now, most of you are going to use the customer file or the website traffic. Very, very few people actually use the app activity or the offline activity unless you have a local business. So one of these two, most likely you're going to start out like this if you don't have a list. So you'll start here. So now that you understand the different types of custom audiences that you can create, without overwhelming you, let's move on to the next video and we'll talk about how to create the custom audiences correctly. Hello and welcome back. This is video number 8 and we're going to talk about creating a custom audience. Now, it's really not hard. I'm going to show you step by step what you need to do and we'll give you some recommended criteria to get started. So like I said, most of you are going to use the website traffic custom audience. So I went ahead and just clicked on that one and you're going to see this here. Now, Facebook might change the user interface, but the majority of the time it's pretty much the same. So it says include people who meet any of the following criteria. Now you can change the any to all if you want. So we could say anybody who visits the initial page, any page, or let's say, for example, the blog posts. If somebody visits the blog post or another blog post, let's say we have 3 different blog posts, then we can say anybody who visits any of these 3 blog posts, let's retarget them. Let's put them in a custom audience. So if it's any, you could say all website visitors in the last 30 days. So it's all website visitors or people who visited a specific web page or they spend a certain amount of time on your website. And this is really good to have just in case somebody visits really quickly and then leaves. You're most likely not going to want to create a custom audience to somebody who comes to your website and within 5 seconds leaves. you would rather create a custom audience of people who perhaps came, spent about 10 minutes or more, and then you could create a custom audience on that, because that usually means that they are interested in what you have to offer. So you could do that. You could do, specific events like page view, general event, view content, or purchase. Now, if it's a specific web page, then you're going to want to enter the full URL, or what you could do is you could say anybody who visits a specific web page that has the keyword blog in it, or paint, something like a keyword. Now, what I would recommend is to enter the full URL right here. So you could have one here, you could include more, like so. So you could click that and include more and more and more. Or you could say something like include people who meet all. So they have to have visited blog post 1, 2, and 3 in order to be considered part of that custom audience. Now, what we found over the years is the more specific, the better. If you can get a custom audience for a very specific page, then when you create a retargeting ad, you will be able to talk to them very specifically. It becomes a problem when you become too general and the Facebook ad is too general and it doesn't really meet the specific needs of that visitor, if that makes sense. Now, another question that you might have is, well, out of the 30 days, do I want to do 30 days, meaning anyone who visits the specific page in the past 30 days is going to be inside of this custom audience? Now, the maximum time is 180 days, so you could do 180 days. But I am going to warn you, because the majority of people who come to your page are not going to remember you past 7 days. So, keeping that in mind, you may want to stick with 30 days or less. And if you think about, if you go to a web page, a lot of times you're not even going to remember it even 30 days down the road, unless it's a review page for a product that they are interested in or a product that they might be going to buy. So it really depends on the specific page that they have visited. Maybe they clicked add to cart, but they did not purchase. If that's the case, they're most likely going to remember it. But past 30 days, that becomes an issue. And if that becomes an issue, your conversions are not going to be there and they might click spam, which can actually hurt your Facebook ad. So bear that in mind whenever you're creating these custom audiences. Now you can also exclude. So you could say anyone who visits these pages, but I don't want to include maybe the third blog post. So I want to say anyone who visits the first 2 blog posts, but we're going to exclude the third one. You click exclude and you simply do the same thing and you enter the web pages there. So when you're done and you're ready, simply click on audience name, enter the name of the audience. Now, one thing to keep in mind is when you name the audience, name it something that you are going to remember and use a naming convention that you are going to remember. A lot of times it's easy to just name it anything that you want. But as you begin to build more custom audiences, you're going to forget. That's reality. And that's it. Hello and congratulations. You've reached the end of this video course. This is video number 9. And we're going to talk about how to set up your Facebook ad and then set it up so that you are targeting the custom audience. It's actually very easy to do. All you have to do is simply go to your ads manager, create a ad, and then you'll see this screen. Now, as I said before, Facebook likes to change up everything oftentimes once a month, or if not more. So you may not see this screen at all. You may see something totally different. But as of now, it says, how do you want to create your ad campaigns? You can create complete campaigns with all the details now, or you can simply set up your campaign structure and fill in the details of your ad sets and ads later. So in this case, we're going to do this. And then of course you have the campaign, you have the ad set, and then of course you have the ad. So it's top down. So you have the campaign, which is the overarching, essentially covering everything. And then you have the ad set, which you can use to focus on the audience, the placements, and the budget and schedule. And then of course you have the ad. So as you can see here, the custom audience will be chosen under the ad set level. So at this point in time, you're going to want to choose an objective. Either you're trying to brand yourself and you're simply going to drive people to a blog post and that's it, or you can use traffic, engagement, app installs, video views, which is great for videos, conversions, catalog sales, or store visits. Now, like I said earlier, most of your objectives are going to be traffic. So we're going to go ahead and click this here. And then of course we're going to name the campaign. We'll call it Retargeting Test 1. You can split test, you can do budget optimization. We're not going to do any of that. We're going to keep it simple. Now, as you can see here, this allows us to focus on a specific demographic. So we've got traffic, we scroll down, and this specific area allows us to choose the custom audience. So as you can see here, custom audiences, you simply click here and you will be able to choose the custom audience. Now, I'm not going to do that now because I've got several custom audiences in there, but you just click here and then choose the custom audience. And it's really that easy. Now, location allows you to specify a specific location. So if you want to do custom audiences, anybody who visited a specific page, but is also located in the United States and is within the age bracket of, let's say, 20 to 30, or even 60, and we only want to focus on men or women, and we only want to focus on a specific language, or we want to do all. So as you are changing these items here, you're going to see a little meter on the right hand side, and this will give you an idea of your potential reach or how many people you will be able to reach. Now, if it's a custom audience, most likely that number is going to be lower. And just bear in mind that if you just started your custom audience, sometimes it takes time and for Facebook to collect enough data for it to actually populate. So sometimes you may not even see it say potential reach 1,000 yet because it's still populating and you're still gathering enough data. So imagine Facebook is trying to gather enough data about your audience in order for it to actually show your ad to that audience. Now, you can specify it and make it more detailed, but I wouldn't recommend that. If you're focusing on a custom audience, I would focus on the whole audience. And of course, you have placements. We just choose automatic, and then the daily budget. Usually a good start is $5. You can run the ad set continuously starting today, or you can set a start date and an end date. And there we go. So all the ad set level is focused on custom audiences, the targeting, and all of that. And then of course, when we move to the ad level, that is when we begin to create the ads, the graphics, and all of that. But I really wanted to focus primarily on this so that you can see where you're supposed to choose the custom audience. So you can only choose, in this case, you can choose several custom audiences, but you don't really want to, because you want to make a Facebook ad that is focused on a very specific person. And that's really all it is. And as you can see, it's not hard to do. So one of the biggest problems any online business owner will face is making the first sale with a new prospective customer. Statistics show that in general, only 2% of prospects convert. Now, the other 98% leave and may never come back to your website. This means that any money that you've invested into getting people to visit your website has been lost. And that can actually quickly add up to a lot of wasted money. Now, if we take a closer look at these statistics, the big question becomes, why do online shoppers leave without paying or taking some sort of action? Now, although there are maybe hundreds of reasons why a potential customer may not take action or make a purchase, these 5 are some of the most common. Number 1, they are presented with unexpected costs or they can't afford it. Number 2, they thought the price was just too expensive. Number 3, they found a better price elsewhere. Or number 4, they decided against buying. Or number 5, they were just browsing. You see, with such a high percentage of people leaving your site, each of course with their own reasoning, is there any way to get them back to your site without having to reinvest a ton of more money into getting new clients? The answer is yes. And this is what we call retargeting. Facebook retargeting marketing is gaining more and more popularity with website owners. And here's why. I'm sure you've run into retargeting ads that are targeted towards yourself. And let me explain how they work. Imagine if you go to google.com and you type in a specific item that you're looking to buy, say barbecue grills. Let's say this barbecue grill website owner sets up a Facebook retargeting campaign. You're interested, but you don't buy at the very moment. Maybe it's because you're busy, maybe because the price is too high, maybe whatever reason it is, you leave. Then you happen to go to facebook.com and see ads related to the site that you've just visited. You're intrigued and you come back and buy or take a specific action. You see, in this case, the retargeting ads sealed the deal that you would ultimately buy from them. If you're still not convinced of the power of retargeting, then here's a specific statistic. You see, according to ComScore study, retargeting ads led to about 1,046 increase in branded search and about 726 lift in site visitation after about 4 weeks of retargeted ad exposure. That's a huge amount of people that otherwise would likely never come back to your website or your landing page. Now, the best news about this is that you can do it for your own website. So I'd like to introduce you to a 9-part video course that shows you how to do this step by step. So in other words, while 2% of your prospects may convert after viewing the website initially, the other 98% who may leave may never come back. So this video course is all about how to professionally use Facebook retargeting marketing to bring back about 98% and convert Windows shoppers into buyers. So I'm going to show you how to properly set this up and use the power of retargeting on the Facebook.com platform. Now, here's a quick overview of what's inside this video course. Video number 1 is the introduction. We'll give you a quick overview of the course. We'll talk about how to get in the right mindset so that you start off strong. And then we talk about what tools and what things you'll need to have in hand to get started. Video number 2 is a visual mind map of the Facebook retargeting process. Before we jump in and show you how to set things up step by step, it's really good to get a bird's eye view or a general view of everything at once. So this is what this video covers. Video number 3 will talk about the visual mind map of real life scenarios. By giving you some real life scenarios or real life examples, what this does is it enables your mind to start moving, start jogging with ideas so that you can pick and choose which one you want to go with and that you begin to understand the whole process of Facebook retargeting. Number 4, we'll talk about the Facebook pixel, what it is, why it's important, and how you can use it. Video number 5, we'll talk about adding the pixel to your website, whether you're using WordPress or ClickFunnels, Lead Pages, or any other landing page builder. Video number 6, we'll talk about pixel variables and settings, otherwise known as standard events. Video number 7, we'll talk about custom audiences, and of course, how to create custom audiences in video number 8. And of course, last but not least, video number 9, we'll talk about retargeting campaign setup. So we're going to take everything that you've learned up until this point and set up a campaign to show you how to implement and embed the custom audiences within that retargeting campaign. So if you're interested in how to create your own highly successful Facebook retargeting campaign, with that said, everything you need to know is right here inside this video course. So one of the biggest problems any online business owner will face is making the first sale with a new prospective customer. Statistics show that in general, only 2% of prospects convert. Now, the other 98% leave and may never come back to your website. This means that any money that you've invested into getting people to visit your website has been lost. And that can actually quickly add up to a lot of wasted money. Now, if we take a closer look at these statistics, the big question becomes, why do online shoppers leave without paying or taking some sort of action? Now, although there are maybe hundreds of reasons why a potential customer may not take action or make a purchase, these 5 are some of the most common. Number 1, they are presented with unexpected costs or they can't afford it. Number 2, they thought the price was just too expensive. Number 3, they found a better price elsewhere. Or number 4, they decided against buying. Or number 5, they were just browsing. You see, with such a high percentage of people leaving your site, each of course with their own reasoning, is there any way to get them back to your site without having to reinvest a ton of more money into getting new clients? The answer is yes. And this is what we call retargeting. Facebook retargeting marketing is gaining more and more popularity with website owners. And here's why. I'm sure you've run into retargeting ads that are targeted towards yourself. And let me explain how they work. Imagine if you go to google.com and you type in a specific item that you're looking to buy, say barbecue grills. Let's say this barbecue grill website owner sets up a Facebook retargeting campaign. You're interested, but you don't buy at the very moment. Maybe it's because you're busy, maybe because the price is too high, maybe whatever reason it is, you leave. Then you happen to go to facebook.com and see ads related to the site that you've just visited. You're intrigued and you come back and buy or take a specific action. You see, in this case, the retargeting ads sealed the deal that you would ultimately buy from them. If you're still not convinced of the power of retargeting, then here's a specific statistic. You see, according to ComScore study, retargeting ads led to about 1,046 increase in branded search and about 726 lift in site visitation after about 4 weeks of retargeted ad exposure. That's a huge, huge amount of people that otherwise would likely never come back to your website or your landing page. Now, the best news about this is that you can do it for your own website. So I'd like to introduce you to a 9-part video course that shows you how to do this step by step. So in other words, while 2% of your prospects may convert after viewing the website initially, the other 98% who may leave may never come back. So this video course is all about how to professionally use Facebook retargeting marketing to bring back about 98% and convert window shoppers into buyers. So I'm going to show you how to properly set this up and use the power of retargeting on the facebook.com platform. Now, here's a quick overview of what's inside this video course. Video number 1 is the introduction. We'll give you a quick overview of the course. We'll talk about how to get in the right mindset so that you start off strong. And then we talk about what tools and what things you'll need to have in hand to get started. Video number 2 is a visual mind map of the Facebook retargeting process. Before we jump in and show you how to set things up step by step, it's really good to get a bird's eye view or a general view of everything at once. So this is what this video covers. Video number 3 will talk about the visual mind map of real life scenarios. By giving you some real life scenarios or real life examples, what this does is it enables your mind to start moving, start jogging with ideas so that you can pick and choose which one you want to go with, and that you begin to understand the whole process of Facebook retargeting. Number 4, we'll talk about the Facebook pixel, what it is, why it's important, and how you can use it. Video number 5, we'll talk about adding the pixel to your website, whether you're using WordPress or ClickFunnels, Lead Pages, or any other landing page builder. Video number 6, we'll talk about pixel variables and settings, otherwise known as standard events. Video number 7, we'll talk about custom audiences, and of course how to create custom audiences in video number 8. And of course, last but not least, video number 9, we'll talk about retargeting campaign setup. So we're going to take everything that you've learned up until this point and set up a campaign to show you how to implement and embed the custom audiences within that retargeting campaign. So if you're interested in how to create your own highly successful Facebook retargeting campaign, with that said, everything you need to know is right here inside this video course. Hello and congratulations on getting access to this video course on Facebook retargeting. Okay, so this is video number 1, which is the introduction and getting started. So before we get started, I want to give you a quick overview of what's inside this video course so you know exactly what to expect. So obviously this is video number 1. Video number 2 is going to be a visual map of Facebook retargeting. And what that includes is I'm going to show you how Facebook retargeting works. And a lot of times people jump straight into showing you how to set things up. But unless you really understand how everything fits together, what connects to what, and all of that, it's really going to become confusing. Because if you set things up like an email opt-in retargeting campaign or a blog post campaign or a purchase retargeting campaign, every one of those is different. So once I show you the basics via a visual map, that's when we show you some real life examples in video number 3. Of course, in video number 4, I'm going to talk about the Facebook pixel, what it is, why it's important, and how it's used. And of course, from that point, we'll move to video number 5 and talk about how to add the pixel to your website, whether you're using WordPress, ClickFunnels, Lead Pages, or any other landing page builder. Video number 6 will talk about pixel variables and settings, otherwise known as standard events, such as how do you tell Facebook that somebody has landed on your page, somebody has converted into a lead, somebody has added the product to their shopping cart. Maybe you want to find people who have added things to the cart but have not yet purchased so that you can show an ad to them, remind them that they are interested in that purchase, and perhaps give them some sort of discount as well. Video number 7, we're going to talk about custom audiences, which are essentially lists or segments of people that you have targeted. And when you create your Facebook ad, you can then target that specific custom audience and show that specific ad to that audience. And then of course, in video number 8, we'll have some practical application and show you how to create these custom audiences. And of course, last but not least, video number 9, we'll talk about retargeting campaign setup. All right, so let's talk about mindset, because I'm a big believer of having the right mindset before you get started. I want you to realize that you're not going to make a sale. You're not going to get leads right away just by setting up a Facebook retargeting campaign. Converting visitors really does take time. And to be realistic, sometimes 12 to 17 times of touch points, meaning you have to get in front of them 12 to 17 times before they will buy. So I want to make sure that you don't expect an immediate action or an immediate sale. Now, to get started, you're going to need these things. You're going to need to have a Facebook ad account. And in doing so, you'll also need to have a Facebook business account. And you can go to business.facebook.com to get access to a Facebook business account. Now, having a business account is separate from the Facebook ad account. You'll obviously need money for ads, realistically at least $500 or more. This is not free by any means, but it's a great way to test things and find results right away. You'll also need to have an idea of how you are selling your product or service in terms of your website, in terms of your funnel landing page setup, meaning how many pages do you have in your funnel? Do you have 3? Do you have 4? Do you have 5? How many? So you want to have an idea of that before you get started, because it'll start to make sense once I show you around. And of course, you'll need to have some sort of mind map or flowchart software. And the reason for that is it will help you be able to map things out, map your own plan of attack out, so that you will be able to successfully implement everything that we're teaching you. Hello and welcome back. This is video number 2, and in this specific video we're going to show you a bird's eye view of how Facebook retargeting works. So you may have a general idea of how Facebook retargeting works, but my goal here is to kind of give you a visual mind map of how all the pieces connect together. Because if I jump in and start showing you to do this, to do that, and I don't explain what things are and why things are important, I know that you will get confused, and I don't want to overwhelm you, so that's the goal here. So let's dive in. Obviously, this is going to be the visitor, and the visitor comes to a website, a landing page, whatever page that you want. Let's say that it is a blog post, and it could be a specific blog post. It doesn't matter. So they visit this blog post, and on the blog post, in order for us to know that they visited the blog post, there's going to need to be a piece of code. And that piece of code is called a Facebook pixel. Now, I'm not going to talk about that right now, but all you need to know is that the Facebook pixel tracks them. I'm going to talk briefly about the Facebook pixel later on because it can get kind of technical. So all you need to know right now is a piece of code that tracks them. It lets us know that they have visited this particular blog post. Now, bear in mind that if you want to learn how to set things up with different scenarios, what do you do with an opt-in page? Or what do you do when you're trying to get somebody to fill out a form? Or what do you do when you're trying to sell a product? Well, I'm going to talk about different real-life examples in the next video. All right, so just keep that in mind. Let's just talk about the basics. Okay, so from this point, let's say it's a blog post, and maybe in this situation, what we want to do is whenever somebody visits this particular blog post, we want to create an audience specifically for this. All right, so whenever somebody visits here, they are going to have the Facebook pixel there, and then this visitor essentially will be added on this part to a custom audience. All right. And don't worry, we're going to explain all of this later on. Now, this custom audience is going to allow us to say, okay, anybody who visits this page is now added to this audience here. Now, why do you need an audience? Well, you need an audience because when it comes to trying to put ads up, so let's put this up. Let's do a Facebook ad. We have to find a way to show this ad to this audience. So obviously from the custom audience here in the Facebook ad here, directionally, we are going to show the Facebook ad to anyone who visited this blog post. So this is a very, very basic Facebook retargeting. So let me repeat this. Let's do a recap. A visitor comes to the blog post, and this piece of code is just happens to be on this blog post, which will allow us to know, okay, this person visited it and they're segmented into this audience, and therefore we then show them Facebook ads on Facebook to this custom audience. So that is a very, very basic scenario. Now, it can get a little bit more tedious if you add more things like email opt-ins or everything else like that. But I just want to start with the basics. We'll talk about more about real life examples in the next video. Now, what you will need to learn is the Facebook pixel, how to use it, how to set up different things like triggers, different ways to work with variables. And the Facebook pixel is just more than a piece of code. It can track when somebody visits a page. It can track when somebody buys a product. It can track when somebody opts in. So in other words, if you want to know if a conversion happened, then you will need the Facebook pixel again. So the Facebook pixel is essentially a piece of code that is on your whole website, and based upon where they land, where they convert, It is all recorded. So we'll talk more about that later on, but let's move on to the next video. And I'm going to give you some real life examples and real life scenarios. We're going to show you different mind maps for different scenarios so that you have an idea of kind of how things work. Welcome back. This is video number 3, and as promised, I am going to give you some real life examples of different scenarios so that whether you're trying to build a list or whether you're trying to sell a product or whether you're trying to just brand yourself, different scenarios call for different setups and different types of campaigns. So we talked about the blog post earlier, and that's fairly simple. But let's say, for example, that you want to build a list. How do you set things up? All right. What if they don't opt into the list? How are you going to retarget them to get them to sign up for the list? So what you really have to do is you have to get an idea of what you want to achieve. What action do you want? Do you want an email? Do you want a sale? Do you just want to brand yourself and expose people to your awesome content? And there are other different scenarios as well. How do you get somebody to fill out a form? So how about we cover those right now? So let's do opt-in list. So let me jot this down so we don't forget. So we're going to cover next. So we covered blog post. We're going to cover email opt-in, a sale, and perhaps a branding. Yeah, we actually, blog post is actually branding. So branding. Now you could go further and show them ads of other related content as well. You could do that. But the goal here is to try to keep things simple. All right. We don't want to get too complex because, believe it or not, Facebook ads can get very, very complex. Funnels can grow and be extensive as possible, but let's keep the things simple. So we got a sale. Let's do perhaps a form. So you have to think, what is the intention or the goal? So the goal with an email opt-in is to get an email address. The goal of a sale is to obviously get someone to spend money. So getting somebody to pay. So get someone to buy. And then with the form, you want somebody to fill out the form. Now you also have to think, okay, what happens when somebody completes the email? What then happens? How do you convert? And how do you track that conversion so you don't show a Facebook ad to somebody who has bought, right? So it's kind of an if, then, else. If this happens, then this happens. If this doesn't happen, then this happens, right? So let me explain. Let's do an email opt-in. All right, somebody comes to a landing page. So we'll call this the email capture page. And then, of course, there's going to be a Facebook pixel on this email captured page. Now, I'm going to remove these because it's going to get a little bit longer. And I'm going to delete this. I'm going to actually copy this back, but we're going to move this over here. So if they fill out the email, what is after that? All right. What is after that? So after that, depending on how things are set up, if you got it set up with double opt-in confirmation, which means they have to check their email address and click the link and all that, and it goes to that page, or they fill in the email and it immediately directs them to the next page. Whatever the page is, we'll say page 2. This could be where the freebie is located. And you're going to need to have another Facebook pixel on that page, right? So if you think about it, the Facebook pixel needs to be on this page. Now, the only reason why we would want to show a Facebook ad is if they came to the email capture page, but they did not give us their email, right? In other words, if they did not fulfill the action, then you need to show a Facebook ad. If they did fulfill the action, you don't need to show the Facebook ad, unless, of course, you're selling a product. But like I said, let's keep it simple. So from this point, they either give us the email and then they land on this page. And this Facebook pixel will need to, we'll call it a conversion, and it will need to let us know if it actually converted. Now, if they did not, so we'll put over here, did not give email. So this is if they gave us the email. If they did not give us the email, and that's why I put an arrow here. So these are scenario 1. So we could actually name this. Let's name this scenario 1. In scenario 2. And obviously scenario 2 doesn't have a page or anything. It's just merely they exited this specific page. If that's the case, we want to retarget them, right? So we are going to say if they did not give us the email, then we're going to put them into a custom audience. So in certain respects, what this is going to do is if somebody visited this page, but they did not visit this page, then we put them in a custom audience. If they visited this page and this page, then we do not retarget them. Now, it's going to be a little bit more easier to understand when I visually show it to you. But I just want to give you a bird's eye view here. So at this point, they did not give us the email, so therefore we add them to custom audience, and then we show them a Facebook ad. Now we could add those who signed up into another custom audience as well. So let's say we want to build a list and then we want to retarget them with a lot of great content or a product, for example, that we sell within the email. So different scenarios will require different setups. So that's one setup. That's an email setup. So not only are you setting things up for the if they fill out the email, but if they do not fill out the email. So the next thing we have is a sale. So you'll notice that it's actually very similar. If a visitor comes to a page, and this page can be the sales page, and of course we pixel them, and then they either buy or, so scenario, they buy, and that is a Facebook pixel conversion, or they do not buy, and then we add them to a custom audience and we show them a Facebook ad for the goal of trying to get them to buy. Maybe they're not ready to buy, right? So you could show a Facebook ad of free content that is related to the sales page. Because most likely if they visited the sales page, they're interested, they're just not sure, right? You could show them a Facebook ad to a coupon. So there are many different ways of doing this. So now you can kind of get an idea. It's very, very similar from the email to the sale. Any type of conversion, it's very, very similar. So now we have a form. So let's see here. We got sales page here. And let's do a form. So they come to the form, and our goal is to get them to fill out the form. So we got a Facebook pixel here as well. Of course, scenario 1, they fill out form. And then we have a Facebook pixel, and we're able to track that they did fill out the form. And scenario 2, they did not fill out form, so we want to retarget them with either really good content or something that speaks directly to them to try to get them to come back and fill out the form. And that can be the Facebook ad. So as you can see, anytime you have a action, it actually becomes very, very similar in the setup. So now that you have a better idea of the different real life scenarios and examples, let's move on to the next video and talk about the Facebook pixel, what it is, why it's important, and where to get it. Hello and welcome back. This particular video is video number 4, and we're going to focus on the Facebook pixel. So we briefly talked about that earlier, but before we dive in, I want to say that you will need to have a Facebook business account. So to do that, you'll need to go to business.facebook.com. That's business.facebook.com. You'll need to create an account so that Facebook knows that you have access to certain ad accounts. So with a business Facebook account, you are able to not only access your own account, but you'll also be able to access anyone else who gives you permissions to do so. Now, as far as the pixel goes, once you have created an account, what you'll need to do is up at the top, you'll see this events manager, and you'll see this / icon. You'll click on that, and then you'll click on the all tools down here, and then you'll click on pixels right here. Now, bear in mind that Facebook oftentimes will change around their user interface. So if it doesn't look exactly like this, then look around and you'll likely find the pixels. Now, like I said, Facebook changes their user interface a lot, sometimes every month, sometimes very frequently. So just keep that in mind. So what you need to do is simply go to pixels right here, and then you'll land on this specific page. Now, as I briefly mentioned earlier, a Facebook pixel is merely a piece of code that you put on your website. And we'll talk more about how to add that to your website, what are best practices, and all of that. But basically all you need to know is the Facebook pixel is a very powerful piece of code that allows Facebook not only to see who visits your website, who converts into a sale, who converts into an email opt-in lead, who perhaps fills out a form, and more. It also collects a lot of data about the visitor, who they are, what sites they visit, and a lot more data. In fact, Facebook in itself has so much data that as far as being an advertiser, it enables you to reach more people that are actually interested in what you have to offer. So that's basically what a pixel is. And to set it up, all you have to do is go to this page, click on Setup here, and it'll give you different options. So you can either click this here to manually install the code yourself, and it'll basically give you a piece of code that you will install. Or as you can see here, it says Facebook Pixel currently integrates with these platforms here. So you can click that and it'll allow you to add it to these locations here. And if you are not a web developer and you have a web developer and you prefer to send that information to them, then you can click email instructions to the developer. Now, we're going to talk more about this in the next video on how to get the code, how to add that code to your website. If you're using a WordPress website, what kind of WordPress plugins should you use? And we'll talk more about that in the next video.